Jairus said, little girl, I say to you, get up and walk. The text then said that the little girl got up immediately. Somebody say right then. The little girl got up immediately and began to walk. As we now reflect back upon this story, it's obvious that Jesus was indeed a miracle worker. But the part that strikes me most is the fact that while Jesus is a miracle worker, it was the faith of Jairus that caused Jesus to move on his behalf. In other words, a father's faith now is more than a noun. It's more than your typical part of speech, but it is the substance. Somebody say substance. A father's faith is the substance for miracle production. A father's faith now is the type of faith that supersedes any form of doubt or uncertainty. A father's faith is the type of faith that shows no boast or pride. A father's faith is the type of faith that is an act of sincere and genuine humility. And most importantly, a father's faith is a sign of total trust. Somebody say trust. A sign of total trust. As we now glance back at Jairus, we see that Jairus has exhibited fatherly faith. As I begin now, Dr. Lofton, to exegetically analyze this piece of text, I discovered that while fatherhood is limited to men, fatherly faith, on the other hand, Reverend Jacobs, is unrestricted and can be exercised by both men and women. I'm going to repeat that little piece one more time. While fatherhood is limited to men, fatherly faith can be exercised by both men and women. In other words, all of us can exhibit fatherly faith just as Jairus did. As I studied this text further, I discovered now three things that a father's faith does. The first thing a father's faith does is it captures Jesus' attention. Somebody say capture. It captures Jesus' attention. In verses 22 and 23, Jairus goes to Jesus, and the text says that he fell at Jesus' feet. Jairus then proceeded to exercise his fatherly faith by expressing his belief in the power that rested upon Jesus. And as a result, Jesus began to journey to Jairus' home. Now, this is where we see a father's faith as it captures Jesus' attention. And my brothers and sisters, one thing we must learn is that while Jesus sees our needs, our faith is what activates the miraculous power that rests upon him. Oftentimes now we find that we struggle. We go through, and some of us lack necessities, not because God doesn't see or hear your cries, but because we don't have the faith to obtain the miraculous power. In other words, you need to put your faith where your needs are, because our faith is what captures the attention of Jesus.